All right, sit up.
Dude, I can't be seen if I sit up. Look over there.
Who cares about the shitty one?
This
This
is
is a good one.
I know. I'm just trying to find excuse to be comfortable. Shit.
You being comfortable.
Says the lounging motherfucker. Says the guy lounging. Like
You gotta make that the intro. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Procrastination. As you already know, my name is Naveed.
Alex.
Joe.
And Neil.
There we go. So this week we're going to have a couple of different subjects to talk about, and I can tell you that there were some fireworks when we were talking about them before the podcast, so I'm pretty sure this is going to get hyped up. So this week we're going to have a couple of different ones. We're going to start off with gaming teams, just gaming teams in general. This is really going to be prompted by a couple of specific subjects you'll see in a few. We're going to talk about intellectual rights with pop culture and gaming in general. And then we're also going to talk about gaming failures. Final Fantasy 14. All right. But yeah, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. So let's start with gaming teams. Big thing I want to talk about here is full new rosters versus acquiring or purchasing an existing team. And this has happened numbers of times. I know I used to work at a LAN center called X3O, and we had a bunch of different Counter-Strike teams, and none of them seemed to work. So what we did was we ended up buying this old team called Prodigy, and we bought them, literally just renamed them and retrained them in the way that we thought our head coach was correct in applying it, and they ended up winning a lot of titles. So I've seen it successful, and I've also seen it just be the biggest flop in history. So what do you guys think about it?
I gotta say, there's obviously different challenges. I think buying a new team or buying a team that's already established would be a lot better than starting from scratch in the beginning, in the sense that if you're already purchasing the team, they should have some cohesion. So it should work a lot better at the beginning. But I feel like if you start a team from scratch and you build all the way up as you improve, once that cohesion actually sets in and the skill develops, I feel like it'd be a lot more impactful than a team that you just bought and you're new coaching. So I feel like if you're trying to get successful early, you might want to purchase a team. But if you're going for like the long run, I think probably you want to build up a team from the start.
So there's a problem with that, because I don't feel like any teams really in esports have that much longevity.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, at least with the exact roster. I mean, you can see season to season, even SKT, one of the best teams in history for any kind of game, they changed their roster. Like, I mean, so how long is it worth it? Like, what are you expecting the turnaround time to be versus, like, acquiring an existing team where they already know how to play as a team versus just picking up some stragglers and piecing them together and saying, well, these guys are really good, and trying to make it work. So I guess there's, like, that balance that we got to figure out. What about you, Joe?
So, I mean, I would always say go for, if you can purchase a team that has been, true to the goal of the company, I would say go ahead and do that over piecing a team. Because, I mean, I've learned from experience, like, we actually set up a professional Counter-Strike team once, and it was going well, it was going good, but the thing is, like, you're just kind of meeting these guys, especially from my level. Like, I can't afford anyone that's on the pro scene right now, but things happen with certain people will take advantage. We got kind of suspended because of one of our players kind of got too salty and started cheating in pubs and stuff like that. So he got our entire roster banned. But that would have been known if we'd known the guy. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, I understand. But so let me ask you this. So it's based on, you said, knowing the person? And
kind of knowing the team, because...
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let's say, well, if I'm an owner and I have a successful team, why would I want to sell them? Right? So I'm only selling them because something's not working.
Yeah.
So I want to reset. So at that same thing, you have to understand you're buying damaged goods to some degree, right?
Or if you want to get into another league. Because if you have insight that, Smite is going to come out 2018 with a, let's say $20 million dollar tournament, are you going to keep...
If you want to get a piece of that.
Well, are you going to keep your, challenger team or, your LCS? Because, I mean, yeah, the LCS is good and all, but that's still nowhere near
Risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or you can just put the full money. You sell your team, put the full money into Smite, get the best Smite players, do all that stuff, and.
But what about what about purchasing part of a team? Because I know a lot of times what'll happen is like certain players, their contract expires at the end of the year, so you're not purchasing them anyways because you don't have to. So do you think it's better to purchase at least part of a team if you can get the skeleton of the team and then add in the extra players at the end, or would you rather start fresh?
No, I would say at least if you can't go full team, at least having 2 for that synergy that people know each other,
like an ADC and a support, or like
something,
or like Faker. His mid lane and jungler, they're always
something like that, because that's gonna always come out in the end with synergy. It's just having that as your foundation to build upon. Because I mean, we've done teams too, new teams. It's very difficult because one, all right, let's say we're okay. So I was doing a professional League of Legends team. We were gonna be challenger, and they were all. Like, what was the term? They were all challenger players, but from like different teams and things like that. And then so I got in contact with an awesome player. I completely forgot his name. He's gonna kill me. But he was helping me meet these guys, and we were on the brink of signing them to have a professional challenger team. Things didn't go through with contracts. It sucked, but that's their determination of having a new team. So there is positives to having just like a brand new team.
Sure, especially if the people like each other. It really helps.
And because they're determined. They're like, look, we know what we want to do. We all have the same end game. Let's do it.
So let me ask you this, because I know you own teams. You own Yatta Gaming, and on top of that, you're just involved in the scenes a lot. How do you feel about the whole roster versus picking up an existing roster versus all new players and training them?
What it boils down to is money, because if you've got a lot of money, usually it means you've got your hands on a lot of different pies, so you want to be hands off as much as possible. So if you've got the money to afford to buy the coach and all the players, and the person that you're buying from is going to be more than happy, then there's no reason not to do it. But if you've got the time and motivation to go through and try to make a brand new team work, then that's fine. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't get into it, is because I don't have enough time to be able to sit down with 5 guys or 6 guys, figure out each of their contracts individually to where it's fair to them, keep them from talking to each other about it, and then get them to play together and not get salty at each other enough so that they could even play one match. Because I've seen plenty of teams fall apart before the new season of whatever they're playing is even going to start.
It's a big HR thing.
It absolutely is. So if you're able to, now the other side of it too is if you're buying a whole team together and you're buying out all their contracts, is you still have to meet everything they ask for. So any rider that a player has on that team, you have to be able to pay for it too. So that can mean a lot of different things. If you're a huge company that's getting into esports because you understand that this is what's cool right now, say like Progressive or something like that as insurance, they think they're just buying the players' contracts. Not necessarily. You have to pay for a house for them. You have to pay for their per diem. You have to pay for everything else that goes along with it, as well as their head coach. And then you also need new people in your organization that are able to interface with these people.
House manager,
to exactly
cook,
be able to come back
social media,
and make it proper. So if you can throw enough money at it, you can make anything happen. You can buy the biggest team, unless they're absolutely, I'll never sell out to anybody.
SKT.
I mean, it happens, but that's pretty far and away.
Well, because it's a perfect investment.
Sure.
Your money is making way more.
Right.
And it's a guarantee because it's proven results.
Yeah.
So
It's just one of those things that you have to consider the volatility of it, because I think there also needs to be certain things where you disclose, like if you know 2 guys are like beefing and one guy's about to quit the team or something that's something you have to disclose.
But that's why also teams are super, now more things have been coming out because of those documentaries that we had in our first podcast.
Yeah.
But when we started our company, I mean, just to try and figure out how these guys ran their stuff was almost impossible.
They don't tell you.
No,
they leave everything shrouded.
I had to meet, I've met, I'm not going to say any teams, but I've met managers and things like that, and I've gained knowledge through them. But, there was nothing online. You can't search it. You can't.
They don't want it to be
now
there.
There is. Now there's all this different things. But, because it was basically, maybe some shady stuff was going on. There's been reports.
I mean, there has been. I mean, there's been teams that have been banned because of it. There have been people where the players have come out and said, like, I've been so mistreated. We haven't gotten paid for like 3 months, even though we're supposed to get paid. Our housing conditions are just like grotesque because we have like 2 people that don't shower and they're affecting every. Like, there's a lot of things to think about, and especially like
that's rule number 1.
No,
shower.
and that's the weird thing. Like, so in the gaming community, like, I cannot tell you, like, just on a quick segue, please
Shower.
take care of your personal hygiene. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. I mean, like, if you sit down somewhere and you stand up and someone can't sit there because of the stench, like, that's a huge issue. Like, I don't care how much you're training in the game, you have time to shower and use some soap. So, segue. But, alright, so let's move on to this. So, with this whole gaming team and acquiring teams, Red Bull just did this, and they just acquired a new team for League of Legends. So, they acquired a new LoL team, and their most notable player is Pcin. Now, that being said, everyone else is pretty much unknown. Like, they're ladder heroes, but they're not actually, like, LCS players or anything like that.
So I'm going to interject real fast because we talked about this before the cast, but I think I know what they're trying to do. So they get that one established player and a new team.
To spearhead it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to grow it, to see where they're at, to see how they can manage.
Yeah, to kind of test the waters a little bit.
Well, because the thing is, like, what's the best experience? Hands-on experience. It really is.
Sure.
Well,
So, I mean, Red Bull, give me a second.
Jeez.
Red Bull, is Red Bull. They got
have
money.
a good point.
No, we all know they have money, right? So
Sure.
they're like, okay, if they have a team for an LCS season, it's not gonna it's not gonna dent them in any way, shape, or form. It's just gonna give more. It's a
Gets their name
PR
out more.
stunt.
So
Yeah.
honestly, it's just
So,
advertising.
but that's the thing. So like, they're just saying like, okay, now I would definitely try and they probably already have the positions full, but like apply because I mean, you're talking house managers, cooks. Social media, definitely social media.
I think they have social media on lockdown already.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing that they've already known. Because they're on social media. Does
Sure.
that make sense? They're not,
Yeah.
but they're not in gaming teams.
I hear you. Well, they are in
Oh,
gaming
yeah, they
teams.
absolutely
They're
are.
in gaming teams.
Okay, then I'm just gonna eat my words. I didn't even realize what I just said.
Yeah, they're in a lot of
Strike
gaming
that.
teams.
We're gonna mute all that.
So,
hold on. Now
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
chance to fry you.
Now
oh,
he can fry
oh,
me.
you hear
All
that?
right,
Hold
all
on.
right.
He hit you
Hold
with
on.
the anyway.
Hold on.
He did one of
All
those
right,
like.
hold on.
figure-
I'm holding it.
let's call back.
I'm holding
So
it.
you're saying
I'm holding it. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
All right.
you're kissing to spearhead. Sounds cool, but this is League of Legends. That
League of
does not work. Let's look back last year with Froggen starting his team.
Oh no! This is gross.
Well, it was Elementals, was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it, my good sir?
Okay. If I recall,
If I recall,
they won one game, and yeah,
One more than expected.
one more than expected. Except from at the beginning where everyone thought they'd win.
I didn't.
Because they had one all-star player, Froggen,
Yeah, one
grabbing
Nvidia
a
player.
whole bunch of pretty good players like Shook and all these other people, and it didn't work out. Now you have Red Bull taking Pcin, who is an awesome player, and they're grabbing unknown challenger tier players.
It's cheap.
Their top lane was the number one challenger in EU West, or solo queue in EU West.
where are they in No, are they in EU? Because it's Red Bull.
It is. Yeah, it's Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, so are they EU? Or
They're-
not?
Weapons.
They're EU.
Yeah.
They're all EU.
They're worldwide, baby.
So they're grabbing challenger players and unknown players, and yet if they can,
I'm just hearing about
even
this
if they
stuff.
secure the number one solo queue ladder players in 4 different regions, you're still getting 4 people that are really good at playing by themselves.
Can I
and
just-
you're gonna make them a team?
Are you agreeing with me? Wait,
I'm
what is
saying
it?
it's not.
Can I
working.
just say my boy I'm a cutie pie is actually number one.
But he played. He played
Yeah,
on
he-
teams though.
yeah,
so I
he
mean, like,
didn't-
I'm a cutie pie. Yeah.
He did fine, but his team sucked.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Damn.
Dignitas.
All
right,
right. I'm just saying it's not going to work. They're going to fail at first, and then they're going to experience growth if they stay together. If they don't, they're going to fall apart, and you might see Pcin get a new team.
Yeah.
And Red Bull.
Well,
pick
no,
up
I think
different
Red Bull.
players.
I don't think Red Bull's they're not leaving anytime soon.
No.
I think now that Red Bull has their foot in the door and they've shown interest, they will. I mean, Red Bull. I don't think people know how deep Red Bull goes as
Well, I
far as
don't
their
know what just
sponsorships.
I didn't
Yeah.
have it today.
Yeah.
We need
All right.
Monster. Monster to come in.
No thanks.
No.
Red
Yes,
Bull.
Monster.
Hold on, stop. Red Bull, you've already sponsored me before. Sponsor me again. Let's do
Nah.
it.
I'm
But
good with
nah,
that.
Monster.
but no. So Red Bull sponsors so much more than people think.
Monster
They
shit
have-
next time.
Yeah.
They have breakdancing events. They have like the flutog or whatever it is, where you just drop.
All right, is this
planes
podcast just
they
going to be
have-
Red
they
Bull
have
versus
motocross.
Monster? All right, let's go. Let's
It's
go.
not
into
really a
it.
show.
So, okay,
that.
all right. So Red Bull will spend money into advertisement and all this stuff, like putting it into
take a
those
backseat on this one.
retarded, little
Oh.
cartoons.
Excuse
Monster,
you,
Monster. How they advertise is they go to events and they give you that product.
So
does
you've
Red
never
Bull.
been
They
to
do.
an event
No.
because Red Bull.
Red
has
Bull
their-
has-
Red Bull. Okay,
all
hold
the
on, hold on.
time.
Fuck, I can't talk about this too much.
Red Bull has gorgeous gamer girls that go
No,
around.
yes, but they don't have the number of supply that a Monster will come in.
Where are you basing this off?
That's
of?
because
What are
nobody
you basing
past
this
it.
off?
Certain
of?
There's
past
an
events.
absolute surplus of Monster because nobody wants that trash.
No,
Dude.
That's why you can get it.
You know, the only place
I don't
Monster-
need you. You need to be on supportive because
Dude,
you know
stop.
who I know.
The only place that people drink Monster is like Kid Rock concerts. All right, let's be
Yeah.
real.
Oh yeah,
That's it. That's it.
Oh yeah, and Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit.
Yeah,
like,
that's it. Okay.
reunion tours.
Yeah, you did it all for the Monster. Got it. All right. So, anyways, next subject, guys. Next subject, because that subject sucks.
Oh, okay, we're not on this. All right, I'm coming back up. Sorry, I took.
No, because he wants to be like in the. Oh no, it's not me. Like just hide away in the bushes.
No, it was like because your guys' opinion is very.
I think Joe just
subjective,
said you
to be
need to
honest.
take your balls out of your purse.
Yeah.
All right, you want balls out of your purse? Monster sucks because they only sponsor people to go to events. They don't actually do publicize. That's why Red Bull outsells them. Red Bull, he had it, is trash. Yes, because they're a god awful product, but the advertisement actually works. That's why they sell it.
Red Bull tastes great.
Now, Red
God.
Bull is god awful
love
because
Red Bull.
all it is just literally bull piss mixed with radioactive
Okay, but
chemicals.
here's the thing, it's
Now,
not-
Monster has flavor.
Monster has flavor.
Monster has flavor.
Please do not
Yes.
try and food
Okay,
critic Monster.
but now, middle road.
Where's the
Let's
get
get
a load
back
of this
to-
guy, Kim?
Hey guys,
I need a remote just to zoom in. And
Alex.
here comes the Guy Fieri of reviewing energy drinks. No
Flavor.
thanks. Yeah,
First of all,
take
no.
them to Flavor Town.
they have to have 80 different flavors because there's no one person that could just drink one flavor. First of all, their low carb tastes like dog
Pipeline.
shit.
Yeah.
Pipeline.
Oh yeah,
All day.
You could drink any of them
All day.
Red
No
Bull only
Pipeline,
needs
all day.
one flavor.
No, they have-
Actually, they have five because they're
They
shitty,
do.
like shit.
They have the special stuff for the frat boys and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you got a green can on Monster and a regular
just
can of
admitted.
Red Bull, I will
Douchebags.
pick up
Red Bull.
Okay.
It gives you douchebags.
Monster. Monster is literally anything involving dirt is Monster. That's because they put
Motocross.
dirt is the number one product. Exactly. Dirt is the number one product in Monster. That's the
Number
they
one
start-
ingredient, dirt.
Yeah, mud.
Dirt and taurine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or you could look at the fact that Monster actually has the capabilities to make
fact.
flavor, while Red Bull just sits there and
Anybody
it's
can
like,
make flavor.
I don't
It's
know
a
how-
question
Guys,
of
stop yelling. Stop yelling. Seriously,
Because
stop
Red
yelling.
Bull,
I'm sitting
Red Bull,
right
you
here.
You have normal Red Bull, which is piss. You have
almost getting
Red Bull, which is piss with cranberry. You have orange Red Bull, which is piss with orange, and then you have the yellow one, which is piss with whatever the
Yellow one's
Yellow
pretty
one.
good. Hold on,
Yellow.
excuse you.
No.
You forgot piss with blueberry.
Oh yeah, I forgot they had the blueberry one.
All right, anyways.
My bad.
All right, let's go into Rockstar now.
We just lost all our sponsorships from this, but let's go.
I'm still a Red Bull fan.
Nah,
so.
Me
Monster.
too. Like,
Let's-
first of
let's
all,
do
all
Red
right,
Bull.
well, you know what?
Next
Anyways,
podcast.
guys.
Go to money.
Next
We'll
up,
figure it
Just gotta
out.
feed the
Let's-
cancer
all right.
and all the tumors in him and all that.
All right. Anyways, intellectual rights with
All right.
gaming and pop culture. So let's start with this. There's a lawsuit going on right now. Dota and Valve. Blizzard, I should say. Blizzard and Valve. Blizzard owns Defense of the Ancients. Valve owns Dota. Basically, it's the same thing. They own it together. They own the rights of different parts of the name. So the issue going on right now is Lilith and Ucool are some mobile game creators, and they've created some mobile games that basically are just complete copies of Dota. And the argument in court right now is Valve and Blizzard are saying you stole our intellectual property and you're trying to make money off it. And Ucool and Lilith's argument is, I mean, yeah, we stole it, but it's not yours. So what they're trying to defend their case on is Ice Frog, before he sold all the rights and everything to Blizzard, and then Blizzard selling them to Valve, Ice Frog made a forum post back in 2004, literally a forum, and he said, I don't want to own the rights to this game. You guys can make your own maps. Now, the problem is, this judge is looking at a single forum post by an internet user back in 2004 as the basis of an argument for an intellectual properties case, whereas Blizzard and Valve are just saying, look, here's what we do, and here's what you copied. So the judge is very unimpressed from every article that I've read so far. Does not look like it's going to go in their favor. What do you guys think about this? Like, about this lawsuit, about intellectual theft? Is this intellectual theft? What do you guys think?
I feel like even not concerning who's guilty or not, there's a big problem with both the judge and the jury, because obviously it's supposed to be a jury of your peers. Judge is just a judge, but like they would have to make sure that they got gamers for the jury, and then the judge itself.
No.
if
They
the
would
judges-
have people that have the jury nothing.
Yeah.
So they
that
wouldn't be gamers.
that would not serve for a gamer's
No,
court, because
It's not a
think about the
gamer's court. It's
stereotype.
intellectual
court.
property.
Yeah.
I know, but like I honestly feel like since this is a mobile
They
game,
don't want people to have a
I feel like
bias.
Neil's
Hold on,
gonna
hold
go
on.
off.
You are literally giving Neil a hernia
All
right
right.
now. Hold on.
I quit.
Neil's,
Go ahead, Neil.
Wow, you were
His
in
face
over
turned.
your head for the You said, first of all, I'm like, nope. Check it out. All right, it's intellectual court. I don't even think they have a jury. You just speak in front of the
It's a judge.
Okay.
That's still not that good.
But, okay, I can't speak to... Lilith is the developer of a game called, I believe it's Dota Mobile. Like, they actually called it Dota Mobile, which you can't, first of all.
can't do that.
But now I've played Ucool's game. It's the Heroes Charge one. It's not necessarily a MOBA-based game. It's sort of like a turn-based...
Kind of like Final Fantasy style.
A little bit, yeah. But the idea of saying you guys can make your own maps and stuff like that is a far reach from what's actually going on, because in a sense they are. So what they've done is they've adopted the characters' likeness, abilities, and I think pretty much some of their names. Like, there's an Ilian Storm Rage in Heroes Charge, who's a hero, and he has all the abilities that they gave to Ilian's character in Dota. I think it's open and shut. They did this for a while, and as far as I know, Ucool's a Chinese developer, so you have international law that got into it as well. So they were able to draw this out, milk as much money as they can from it, and so now, as far as microtransactions go, it's a very, very popular mobile game. A lot of people pay money into it. So at this point, I'm assuming they're probably going to, as soon as the judge is like, this is crap, right? They're going to settle, pay off however much, and just go on to the next one. Like,
Yeah.
It's just the cost of making
Yeah, because
money.
I don't think you can get the whole amount.
No, absolutely not.
international.
No,
it's
you
gonna
can
be-
sue
you're
for
gonna get
damages,
rights.
and they're going to look at how
rights,
much
court
right.
costs.
They're going to look at how much, because in a sense, all the programming is theirs. They, even though they adopted the characters, they did animate themselves. They're not completely ripped off the sprite. They have their own artists
because you
that
have to
made
do
their
the whole
design of
coding,
it,
yeah.
stuff like. So they're not going to get the whole kit and caboodle, but they're going to get a good chunk of their money. And I'm sure they knew that going into it. But the idea is, if you've got a new game and nobody's heard of it before, if you can introduce characters that people recognize, and
It helps.
yeah, and I think also after this one, it's really going to open some floodgates, because again, Heroes Charge, they also have Ezio, so Ubisoft might be looking at them like, where's my Assassin's Creed money at? Because you're ripping that dude off. They dipped into every big franchise and every big game in the last 10 years.
It's like the
to rip
Super
characters
Smash
out.
Brothers
Yeah.
from every company
Yeah.
pieced together.
Oh, PlayStation All-Stars, if you want to add that
Oh,
to it.
yeah.
Alright, so hold on.
just gave him that.
Let's-
While we're talking about
All right, so let's,
wild and varied
let's
cast of
since we're all excited about the last subject, let's move on quickly from this one.
Yeah.
So the next one is so with intellectual rights and gaming and pop culture, this is the big subject, but there's a huge sub-subject
Yes.
here, and that's with Marvel and their
Fox.
CEO.
Oh, no. Sorry,
Well,
sorry,
no,
sorry.
you're right.
Sorry.
It's Marvel, Fox, and the CEO for Marvel. There is this man, or I don't know if he's a CEO anymore. I haven't followed it in a while, but this is what I remember, and this is what happened, and it's brutal. So Isaac Perlmutter, he was the CEO of Marvel, and he was also one of the controlling interest heads in Disney. So he controlled a lot of stock in Disney, and he owns Marvel. This guy, he is an Israeli businessman that is very rarely photographed, as weird as that is, and he's recently had a lot of ties with Donald Trump. Yep, make Marvel great again. And so this guy is most known for how shrewd and ruthless of a businessman he is. And he handles his whole intellectual rights a little bit different than other people. So, for those that don't know, Fox owns all the rights to future X-Men and all the merchandising rights for X-Men, and they also own the Fantastic Four. Okay? So, and you can tell that from the crappy movie that was, the crappy movies.
Yeah.
After they pieced off all the pieces of Marvel, they're trying to get them back. And Sony was pretty cool with them with the Spider-Man franchise. They worked together. Fox, not so much. And Fox is kind of not giving into any of his demands. So what happened was Isaac snapped. He goes by Ike, of course. So Ike Perlmutter. This guy flips his you-know-what and just starts going crazy. He walks into his office and he releases a press statement to his employees only. So it's a public statement to his employees. He says, tomorrow, if there's a single piece of X-Men or Fantastic Four memorabilia of any kind sitting on your desk or in your cubicle, in your workspace, you will be terminated. Snaps. That day, he cancels the Fantastic Four comic book forever. He canceled. They don't exist anymore. There's no more Fantastic Four. It's all old stuff now. Just canceled it. Days of Future Past, that movie with X-Men. If you guys don't remember this, if you don't have any kids, or if you're not, weird and just going to toy aisles by yourself, they actually did no merchandising for Days of Future Past. There was no comic books about it anymore. There was no games. There was no toys in the toy section. He just ended it all. He said, if this is what you make money on, that's fine. You also own all the new X-Men? Cool. There will never be a new X-Men while this deal is in place. I mean, how do you guys feel about someone just like burning everything like that? Like he literally did damage and detriment to his fans because of how he felt.
I think the government should be allowed to intervene on this. No, I'm serious, because this is like a form of terrorism.
I'm
just saying that.
My lord.
No, it is. Because hold on.
Build it up. Build up the rage.
Can I just say my thing?
I think I know where Joe is going.
Okay, so what I mean by that is he's just there. It's a certain few people, the 1%, right?
He's not going down.
They control the entire thing, and then so they're restricting like everything that we love. So like Deadpool, right? How it had only 2 X-Men because they could only afford, and he even made like a joke about it in the movie.
That's because Fox also owns the rights to that.
Yes,
if your theory continues, the rich might actually put the poor against each other once a year, where they
purge.
can fight, and then they just make money off of it. Oh man, we're onto something here. We're gonna have the purge 2027. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what he just went from.
You're a
I'm talking
conspiracy
about
theorist that ain't working.
No, I'm saying there should be like a body of government that frees videos, like, or movies, because like
the FBI.
Think about
books, like
something.
They
like
have the FBI where they put that little thing in the beginning of videotapes. Like, if
that's just
you record this,
what are we even on today?
Hey guys, on a side note, there is no FBI director right now, so just steal all the VHS and just record them while you have the chance.
You can record things with a non.
No, but what I mean is like how like. All these companies and all these people buying and owning different, intellectual properties, and then like restricting people from using them and things like that. It's hurting like how good movies can actually be. You
were on some wild, weird pro-government / hippie stuff right now. So,
dude,
pro-government. I'm sorry. Like you're like peace and love. Just let the government give it to y'all. Okay. Well, yeah. You know what? That's called communism. What that's called. So,
hey, we just looked up Stalin versus Martians.
What? You guys just yelling all the time. Brutally yelling at each other.
What I thought you were driving at was some kind of anti-monopoly trust.
In a sense, yes.
Not even close.
No, you're not.
No, because
the federal investigation.
First of all,
Bureau
you can't, because intellectual property is privately owned. It was originally owned by Stanley and the rest. So the government has no say in what you could do with that.
They should, though.
Okay,
they just
so
broke church and state.
What?
They just broke church and state.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know about that. Are we going to go real political?
They did.
Church and state.
I know what you're talking about.
They made it so you can fund private schools.
You can pay tax
and
and stuff like that. And the Church of Latter-day Saints said, no, that's dumb. We're not going to do that, whether this law's on the books or not.
Okay,
but that's got nothing to do with it.
Let's go.
Anyways,
so the point is that as far as getting back to the topic, it's smart from a business sense, but yeah,
It's smart from a
obviously,
business sense to do
I
that?
think it is because he could starve him out. Now, right now,
Yeah.
I don't
Marvel
think you're going to
Disney's on
starve
top.
out Fox.
In that arena, yes, because
They can pull
Fox,
from another
yes, they can if they want to, but it's sort of like when media conglomerates are like, okay, the newspaper's not making any more money anymore, let's sell the newspaper.
I think it's going to hurt the other
If you're
person.
sitting, I don't think so at all. I mean, it screws over the fans first and foremost.
Well, that's where my vision's coming
That's the
from. Or
obvious
my-
immediate effect, and you're right about that.
I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I don't need to see another
But-
fucking reboot. I'm sorry. And I know I cursed, but I don't need to see. Like, I was just going through my Amazon, and I have Stars and Cinemax. I don't need to see another Spider-Man. Like the beginning
yes,
of Spider-Man.
but-
Like, that's just blowing my.
I would be more than happy for Marvel to reacquire the rights to Spider-Man and X-Men and all that because I don't want to see Fox make another one of those movies.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so they
Hey, we found common ground. All right.
There can be peace.
On a side note, that new Spider-Man movie looks dope.
It does, but I
Alright,
don't
so-
need to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I smell what you're stepping in. I got you.
But you're
All
gonna
right.
associate.
Anyways, all right. So let's get to.
Let's be honest.
So if you guys thought these subjects were hyped, you have not seen what's coming next. And
I don't even need them anymore.
all right.
I need a
This
remote
is gonna
so I
be-
can just zoom in.
This one's going to be gaming failures, and I'm going to ask you guys. We're going to do a straw poll, and I'm going to look into the future for the results. All right. So, what do you guys want? Do you guys want me to ask the subject beforehand that's going to calm everybody down, or do you want me to just hype this up? We'll look to the polls. Now that we've seen the polls and we know what it's going to be, let's start with just jumping into it. And here's what it's going to be. The first game. I'm not going to do the game you think I'm going to do.
I know. You're not.
I'm going to let that build up.
Okay.
I want to feel the rage, bro. I want to see you get angry. I want to
His
see your
face
face
is
turn red.
And it's only on your side. Like,
Yeah, I know. It's the closest
Right
side
on
to
this
me. All right. Yeah, he's gonna have a stroke on half of his body, like the other half will drive him to the hospital. All right. Anyways,
As a bit
All right.
of a circle.
all right. So let's start with this one. This game, No Man's Sky. One of the biggest failures of all time. One of the most overhyped games in history. It could have been so much more.
yes.
It had so much potential.
Yes.
Like, I was reaching to the sky hoping that there would just be an awesome game that I could play that's just completely new genre. And then what happened? It had the same issue, just blown up, that Bethesda Works games have. And if you guys don't know what I mean by that, I mean this. Bethesda Works games look beautiful. They have awesome storylines. They have a lot of dialogue in there. Their combat system and their uniqueness for the amount of NPCs and monsters they put in the game is so stale. I mean, if you fought 7 different types of creatures in Skyrim, you fought every single one. Same thing with Fallout. It's like they recycle and regurgitate everything when it comes to the combat systems, the NPCs, and it really makes a stale game. And the issue with No Man's Sky was they said that there were infinite numbers of worlds. And there were an infinite number of worlds.
But it was the same.
But it was like Diablo 3 saying there's an infinite number of maps. You know, it's like you take the same thing, you turn it this way a little bit. Hey, that's new, right? Hey, am I right? Same thing with the things that you could like go into these planets, and there were these beings you could evolve, and you could help them grow, and you could create crossbreed and all this. Same thing. It was all the same stuff. There was nothing different. It was just like once you've seen like 20 different iterations of everything, you have completed the game. Now you're literally just going through for the hell of it, I guess. But that was a huge failure. And I think it's important to identify this, because this is going to touch on one of the points we're going to bring up, and this will probably calm Neil down a little bit. Or at least it'll add a different...
We'll see.
No, it'll
We'll
add a
see.
different layer to it. When a game is released and it fails, I think that is a failure of a game. Now, they can go by later and patch it and work on it, and I think at that point it becomes a different game than what was originally released.
Yes. I agree.
So I think the initial launch of a game, that is the actual game that was intended to come out. Once you get everything wrong, it's really easy to like look back and have 20/20 hindsight and patch it later. But the problem is you lose that initial drive, you lose that initial hype, you lose those new players that you would have acquired based on if the game was really good from the start. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where there was a disagreement with me and Neil, and you'll hear about it in a few, about one of our games on the list. But How do you guys feel about No Man's Sky at least?
Complete crap.
So I'm
Complete
gonna
crap.
I'm gonna
Wow,
go real quick.
not even like
No.
just
I'm right there with you.
just
yeah.
flushed it. All right.
Now, I didn't pay attention to it at all. I didn't even know the game was a game until about 2 weeks before it came out. And I'm like, oh, okay,
I was saying
that kind of looks kind of cool. I think I know nothing about it. I'll go in completely blind. It's fine.
I like that.
And
we went over that.
yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
it's crappy Minecraft in space. Like it's
It's
not.
crap.
even
It's
Minecraft.
crappy
No, Minecraft
Minecraft.
is way
Okay.
better.
It's like
Hold
you
on.
get the first
Are
half
we
of
dissing
Minecraft where you
Minecraft?
gather stuff.
Okay, I get that. It's just a gathering game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
No, I actually paid attention to all the hype on this. Me
Yeah,
and my buddy. We were always
thought it
talking
was
about it. We're like, oh my god, there's going to be like 15 quintillion planets.
And then
like,
I'm
there's
all by
this-
myself.
Like, and then
Just name
we're
your
going
planets
over
like
the
a
math.
loser.
Yeah, and we're going over the math and everything.
Oh,
We were.
Come on, keep going.
I remember there was an article that said if you and your buddy joined No Man's Sky, you can literally
Keep going. No, keep going. I'm sorry.
you could spend months trying to meet up to each other.
Longer. Keep going.
it's been a lifetime because it'll never happen. So, in the very small amount of defense that No Man's Sky is, I guess that's what actual space travel would be like. If you got dropped in the
All by
corner of a
yourself?
world
There's no one-
by yourself and you
There's
move at the
robots.
speed of
Just
smell,
robots.
then yeah.
And then like
You're-
this
you're-
language that you're trying to debunk.
You're playing
Debunk.
man versus wild,
All right,
I guess.
all right. I need to
Chris
say this.
Space.
So this is gonna be like a total bleep moment, and I just need you to like, just a whole. I can't. That
If
was
we're
just
just
a
gonna bleep everything.
big game. Yeah, no, but no. Honestly, like,
Garbage
at
game.
what point do you? Because I mean, it wasn't just me like misinterpreting it. Everyone, I
No.
think, thought, okay, we're gonna be able to do shit on our own, and then like, if you found a new planet that no one's been on, you can name it. And how cool would that be? Like, oh shit, that's Joe's planet. You know, that's the
Not
shit.
what you would have named it.
Well,
I would
have
name it
named
like Rim Job 7 or something. Let's be really. We're all immature. Like,
Most on the
Well,
rim.
no, hold on. One of the streamers
raise
named him
your
Hobby
hand.
Robbies.
Okay. Raise your hand if you have never gone to an arcade machine and gotten a high score and put in ass. Like, just raise your hand if you never did that.
Well, I never got a high score. So.
All right. Well,
Sad.
Anyways,
Sad.
Bring it
but no,
painful
so
memories.
so yeah, No Man's Sky.
it was just like a huge
It
like.
was a flop. Belly
Yes.
flop. Huge
Yes.
belly flop.
So
Like
I actually,
full belly.
I was looking at because with all my past games, I go back to like stores to see what DLCs are coming out, and like the stuff they put now, it actually looks pretty cool. So like you can build your own base now, you can do all this stuff. You still can't interact with other people,
Yeah, you can do that with a lot of games.
but hold on, but
and
because
interact with people. Trove. Let's go with Trove. I'm just
¿Cómo
sorry.
estás? Muy bien.
Trove is
You
free
too?
too.
So the problem for me is when you as a company give people something, you charge them, and it wasn't $60, so it was
60,
higher than
80,
every
100.
other thing.
Yeah.
So it was an actual like back in like a DC or I'm sorry, a disc
Steam
game,
review.
and if you do that to a person or community or whatever, and you're like $60 for this. And we're not going to give you anything that you originally thought of. We're going to promote it like that it's way better than it is. It loses it for me. So I don't care
It
that
actually had a lawsuit against it too.
yeah. I
There was a
don't.
lawsuit
I
against
don't
it.
care that
You didn't deliver.
You
Yeah.
made all this
Which
stuff.
is actually a first.
Yeah,
I'm
I've never
done
actually
with
seen
it.
that before.
I've
where
never,
you got a
yeah,
lawsuit
I
for-
didn't know you could sue a game for buyer's remorse, but apparently,
Yeah. All right, so
I'm pretty sure Steam lost a huge amount of money
they
doing
did. It was a horrible
refund
PR
transactions.
move.
Yeah.
So then let's go to the next game, Pokemon Go. This game, man, if the world was not ever taken by a game, this was the first one it took.
There were laws coming out about it.
There-
Don't
this-
Pokey-Go and drive.
This literally
I'm
changed.
drive all the time.
This literally changed the world. Like it's not like one of those games where it might be the most influential game of all time. It changed the world. Like people started exercising. People started meeting each other.
I did. That's
People-
why I'm fat again.
Yeah. people started meeting new people that they'd never met before. People started going to places they've never been
I
before.
met a guy named Aaron at 3 a.m.
I-
It's pretty awesome.
I went to
He broke his phone because
I went
of
to Ventura, California on a birthday trip last year. And Pokemon Go had just come out. And I mean, my friend, he didn't have a phone, so he just used my phone the whole time. But so he's demanding that we stop here and we stop there. And I met a 68-year-old war veteran with one arm and no legs, who was wheeling himself in his wheelchair to play Pokemon Go. Like That guy would not have a purpose to be in a park at 3 p.m. on a
Like,
Sunday
legs do
with
kidney
one
days.
arm, like other than
no,
Pokemon
but how many
Go.
people like? Okay, so if you don't
We
live
were the
in
ones that
Vegas,
sat in the car in the park, though.
well, because I didn't want to. We had AC and I had gas.
Yeah.
I had money, but
Okay.
no. So if you don't live in Vegas, we have a lot of parks here. It's different than like California or like New York.
What are you talking about? Everywhere has more parks than us.
No,
we're
I
in
think-
the desert. Everywhere has more parks. In Maryland,
I
there
was
were,
just gonna
not as
go
big
with
as like how no,
in Maryland there were 7 parks that were bigger than any park we had
Eastern,
in Vegas.
there's, like,
within a 5
8
mile radius of each other.
There's 8. God damn it. There's 8 parks like on one street.
Hey, we have a lot of parks. Anyways.
Okay, we have a lot of parks. Anyways, no.
parks.
So okay, but do you ever really see people at them?
I did when Pokemon Go was around.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
The only other one is Sunset Park, and that's because people play like sports there.
well, and
but
that's
that's
just homeless too.
Yo, Sunset got popping.
Those are our
Yeah.
parks. Right?
Well,
Well,
that's the thing.
I think to me, and you're right, as far as paradigm shift, but the biggest thing to me was if you go on like Zillow or if you go on Yelp or something like that, they tell you like this is a Pokemon Center or
Yep.
Pokemon Go friendly or something like that. To the point where when you're buying a house, they thought it was worthwhile to be able to tell you that hey, there's right
So-
now there's Tauros nearby. So
So
almost like real Pokemon. in a
almost on the
sense.
flip side, though, there were people that had to build gigantic fences to block people from getting into their backyards
Yep.
because of their house was a Pokemon stop randomly, or they had to have issues where like businesses had to put no trespassing signs up and enforce. Because I remember, I mean, creepy story of the night. I drove to, it was one of these little strip malls, right? And it was like 2 a.m. And for some reason the business was open. I think they were doing like renovations or something. And I drove up like right next to the people. And they just stared at me. I stared at them. I caught my Omanite and I just left. And I was like, all right, that was really
Should've took a
strange.
picture.
There's a
That
gym.
was just really strange.
There's a drim.
drim?
Drim. There's a drim right outside our house by the Smiths Center.
Man.
And so like nothing is open in that area after 10. So there's no reason for anyone to be there.
So
You
It's
roll
always
up,
packed.
there's just a whole mess of cars in just this one little area because if you're out of it, you don't get the you're not in range for the gym and or the drim. And it's just it was crazy because like
Sure.
even companies, how many companies paid money when the first it wasn't really like an update. Well, it was
the first time where you could sign up to be
yes,
a Pokestop.
yeah. So they,
And they
like,
stopped it.
started
CPK
paying
tried
all
to
that
do
stuff.
that.
So, so on a side note, why'd it fail? I mean, I know why it failed. Why'd it fail, though?
not adding. It was the same content.
No.
I think so.
It got
That's
boring.
it.
Like
That-
just all the gyms kept getting
that
taken
was-
over super quick.
And I
That
put
was-
money into it.
That was part of it, but the immediacy of it was the game was broken. Just the fact that the radar didn't work
Huge.
was a huge thing.
True.
Because at that point, you're all sitting around at a park, everybody's putting a lure up on the Pokestop, and you're just letting them come to you. And then it's like, oh, there's an Onyx nearby or something like that. When the game first came out, the radar was awesome, and it was exactly what it was supposed to be. So if you
Yeah.
have something like that and you take it away because it's broken, and you're working on it, and we're fixing it, and it's taking months, and then other people are like, okay, well, we don't want any money.
I don't
This
think
is
needed
completely free.
taking months
Wow.
didn't need the quotes,
Yeah.
but
Regardless.
Well, yeah, how long did it take
because
it
it was
to
not
put
months.
more
It was
Pokemon?
way longer than that.
They just released new Pokemon.
It's
All right,
been
so-
a few months ago.
Yeah,
Close
but
to a year or something like
Yeah,
that. But
so
that, to
here's
me,
my
that's
issue, though.
not. To me, that's not.
remember, I'm 2 months.
Yeah.
well, no,
that's true.
but here's my issue. Check this out. These are the big reasons I think it failed. One, radar didn't work. Huge. They gave you something, which was the radar, and then they took it away, and it made it so a lot of people that relied on it, they didn't have it anymore.
Well, the
And
game
it
for
became
a lot
hard
of
for
people
kids.
became unplayable.
Yeah, it
You're
became hard
just
for little kids.
walking
They
around
can't
with
really
some
go too
Pokemon.
far.
Yeah.
Then, with the content, all right. So I understand that the regional idea was genius. Like, make it so you can only catch Pokemon here or there. I think they made it a little bit too exclusive, where it was like you can only catch this Pokemon in this country. Maybe not
Yeah,
so
they
much
should
there.
have,
And then the issue was, all right, so it's been 7 months and you still haven't released new Pokemon. I mean, when is this going to get fresh? Like, when are you going to fresh?
no,
it?
3.5 Joes. is
That
what
is
that
so. No, but side note, I had friends actually drive up to Area 51 because everyone thought there was like a Mew or Mewtwo up there.
Yeah,
is. Yeah, why not?
yeah. Nothing like getting shot by the government for trying to catch a Mew. You know?
Today's news.
Well, I knew this
Well,
recently.
people got run over.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I know one girl at least.
Muggings were up. People were just, apple snatching.
You see this the guy that was
No,
streaming live, and like a guy just came and walked up and grabbed his phone and started running. And
I didn't,
still
but I
streaming.
believe it.
Yeah, and like you just see the robber just like on stream like for 30 minutes until he realizes the phone was on.
That could be fake.
It could be. But the other side of it too is the few times I actually watched on Twitch, because to me it's sort of redundant. You might as well just go out and play it. It's not that high to get into. But people would go into but people, they'd go on their computer, and I sort of knew how to do it, but I forgot how to do it. But anyway, they'd go into unclaimed areas, and they'd catch all the Pokemon there, control all these gyms, and boost themselves and things like that. Well, and it became mad exploitable, too.
Well, that was the problem.
That's a small subset of what the problem was. Again, to me, the biggest issue was losing the radar. As soon as the radar was gone, people completely lost interest in it.
I also think people just kind of got cheap with it. Like, people started using drones to get
places.
Well,
and that's the thing. So it got really... It became this exploitable game because you could actually, like, change your Pokemon trainer to be... the GPS could be tricked into thinking you're in Europe. You're there. So there were people that were already level 40, level 30-something in, like, 2 weeks of playing the game. That should never happen. Then they banned all those players. But the problem was the damage was already done because they took too long to do so. So all these players that are like legitimately playing the game, they're like, I'm level 14, what level are you? 40, I already have like 7 Charizards, and I have like... It's like, well, all right, why am I playing then?
No, that's like something that game developers should look into, is protecting your own game. Because this is going to happen.
Let's get the government involved.
Yes. There needs to be another
So what the government should do is they should shut down all GPS services, and you can only log in if the chip in your brain is flashing. That's
right. All right, so next game.
Especially in ARC.
Next game.
People in ARC.
Let's hit the next one. Final Fantasy 14. All right.
I think we just sit back.
This game. All right. This game. Now let me tell you guys. I did not play this game. I've read so many things about this game being a huge failure. And the biggest argument that everyone had for this game, for the failure of it, was flower pots. And what did they mean by flower pots? Flower pots was a symbolic thing that they said about the failure of the game, because in their flower pots, they had over 1,000 polygons, and they had... Where was it? It was 130 lines of shader for a flower pot in this game. That's more than the first computer. They put so much detail into the graphics for this game that they forgot to make it fun to play when it first released. This is in the original release. Also, the problem was it was just bad across the board. Like, the CEO of the company came out and said, I'm so sorry that we made this horrible game. Like, the CEO had to apologize for the game. That's pretty bad. Like, and it had... Alex, what were this? Let me ask you a question. When it came to the biggest failure, the ET game or Final Fantasy 14, what has a higher rating?
So, ET scored a little bit higher than Final Fantasy 14.
Okay.
The original entire game, noted to be one of the worst games in history.
That's buried in deserts.
Did better in Metacritic than Final Fantasy 14.
So on all this, so that all being said, Neil disagrees that it was a bad game.
No.
Neil says Final Fantasy XIV was not a failure. So let's hear why it wasn't a failure.
What I said was Final Fantasy XIV is not a failure. There's no denying that the CEO... So the paid subscription went away after the first month. They said, hey, you know what? You guys, thanks for supporting our game. We know you paid $60 plus all these free months. And then whatever you pay for the subscription on top of that, you get to play for free while we work on it. The launch itself was a flop. It really was.
It's a good PR move.
My problem with it, and it's what we were talking about earlier, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, was no game has had a good launch in years. Like, there's always been either server issues or something like that, to the point where you're like, I can't even play this game. It's been so hyped up and stuff like that. So I can... No one cares about Injustice. So... So...
Coming from a fighting game promoter, and no one cares about
I cannot disagree with you guys that on its initial release, it was not a good game. Now, if you go back and you look at what people are paying for now, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, 86 on Metacritic, so suck that.
Hold on, wait. Was that title the original title that came out?
No, that was the no. This is what I'm saying. No, this is what we were getting into, and I already know how Naveed feels about it. And I'm sure I know how you guys feel about it. I'm not disagreeing with you. Final Fantasy 14, as it was released originally, did flop. Okay, that you're not wrong. But if you don't know, and you're like, I want to play Final Fantasy 14 for the first time, and you sit down and you buy it right now, you would not know about any of that history.
No one's playing it for the first time anymore.
Oh, absolutely they are. Yes, they are.
No.
Absolutely they are.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna try Diablo 1 today. It sounds like a good idea. Hey, do you guys have Prince of Persia for the
Final Fantasy 14? Look, Final Fantasy 14 is still extremely relevant. It still is working. It's one of 3 games that still works on a paid subscription basis. Yeah, get a load of this guy, getting a load of that guy, Cam. No, look, I can't disagree with you. As it stood, it was. But I think there's a difference between if a game is out and it's done and it flops and it's a failure, like No Man's Sky was, where people don't even really give it the time of day anymore.
So
there's a difference between
So you
the
don't
two.
think you're saying because Final Fantasy 14 has been reworked and redone, it's not a failure?
But it's the same
At
as
this
No
point,
Man's
If
it's not
No
a failure.
Man's Sky came out and made it multiplayer and did everything
If they did
you would say
everything
it's an
they
amazing-
said, if they did everything they said they would, and everybody came back to it and started playing it, I think you would be hard pressed to not say that the game, as it stands right now, is amazing, and that means it's no longer a failure.
You don't think
it
it was
wouldn't be
originally
shitty
a
Minecraft.
failure?
I said it.
So Final Fantasy 14 is originally a failure?
Yes.
Okay. What about Diablo 3? Let's
I
get on to
agree
this
with
one. So Diablo 3. Do you think that game's a failure?
No,
Why?
Yeah, well,
That's
I'm
all
on this
I'm
side.
getting.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of friends that still play it.
What
If
does that
you
have to
find-
do with anything?
Because games fail or succeed based on the amount of people who play it.
No, but you're
Just
using
Neil's
your
friends
friend
are
base.
supporting-
Like I know people that play Barbie Horse Adventures that didn't make it a success.
I know way more
Like,
people that
wasn't
play
he playing
Diablo than play
Penguin
Barbie the
Club?
Horse Adventure.
Let's Penguin Club. Let's go ahead. Club
No,
Penguin.
actually, there were a lot of people playing Club Penguin too. No, let's do
Whoa.
this. I will do this right now. Diablo 3 active users. We'll see how many people are playing it right now.
74.
Oh, look, it's all my
well
friends.
more than that. Well more than that.
Neil's like, let's see who's playing it right now.
I just need to go
Hey,
on
Steven, are
Facebook.
you playing Diablo 3 right now? No, it works.
Is the mic on? All right, mic on.
So here's my issue with Diablo 3 while Neil tries to find his pointless figures. So
Pointless. So
develop-
the basis of what makes a game successful or failure is a pointless statistic. But you're right. Go ahead. Give me your opinion. Let me hear this garbage.
It's based on his opinion.
some
If it-
people's children.
Oh my
All
god.
right, anyways,
That's
so-
my kid you're talking
All
about.
right, so the game got oversimplified. Here are my big issues with it. The game was oversimplified from what it was in Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. They tried to cater to the multi-platform use because even during their development, they said, we want this to work on PS4, we want this to work on Xbox, and we want this to work on PC. So by doing so, they had to figure out a way of creating abilities and skills that you could use very simply on either a controller or a keyboard. That made it really oversimplified for the PC version. They also made the items dumbed down. So instead of having all these unique items with unique stats, you basically had these like niche items that you could only use with your character, just like their set bonuses. With their set bonuses, there is no... I mean, there might be one single build that uses one set bonus that's only like 2-piece, where you get like the rings, where you wear the rings and they give you 100% more damage for each unique ancient item you have on. But past that, you have to use set bonuses. So by doing that, they're locking you into a certain style of play that Diablo 2 did not have. You could customize your character however you liked in Diablo 2 because all the
It's
sets...
like Destiny. I didn't play
Yeah.
Diablo.
Yeah, so and that's the thing. They only have like 3 or 4 sets per class, and then you're locked into that. The other issue is the maps were super, super, super boring. Like, the maps are super boring. When they first released, there was no difference in maps like there were in Diablo 2, where you could get the same floor, but everything would be moved around. And if you do rifts or greater rifts, it's the same thing as the maps for the normal play. All they do is they just take that map, make the screen a little bit darker, and then throw random monsters in it. And they're like, oh, well, it's Greater Rift 52. And then if you do Greater Rift 52 again, different map, but it's one of the maps in the game, they just throw more monsters on it. There you go, Greater Rift 53. Like, it didn't change anything. The other issue is they left the big leveling gap. So you can be max level in 30 minutes. Is that healthy for a game? Like, you can just max level in 30 minutes?
I think that's what happened with Pokemon Go.
Well, and that's the thing.
That
There was this big treadmill that you walk on in Diablo 3. It was a little bit different than Diablo 2. Diablo 2 had an amazing dueling system. Diablo 2 had an amazing trading system. Diablo 2 had they had like Uber runs. They had different classes that you could play in different ways. The playthrough of the original game was really fun, and that's not the case with Diablo 3. So the original playthrough sucks. It's like the storyline's awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's a continuation of the Diablo 2 storyline, but it's not the same thing as Diablo 2. It's like Diablo 2 was a huge success.
It's taking you a little...
Yeah. Then when the game came out...
Oh, I'm just letting him go. I was doing other stuff.
Then when the game came out, they had the server issues, just like every other game, where like... I took off 2 days from work. I owned my own business, and I had to like make my employees work overtime and pay them like $200 a day just so I could play Diablo 3. And I couldn't play for half the time because the servers were down and they couldn't be supported. And all of that, then they had a real money auction house. They take away the real money auction house, and then they take away the ability to trade items with players. Then you can't trade anymore.
with the
it's all
server, Guild Wars 2.
They basically just took everything and tried to make it as much like World of Warcraft as they could.
Yeah.
They even used the same colors for the items. Like they even
like-
used items from World of Warcraft. Like they have Thunder Fury and Sulfuris. And
Not to
Sulfuris is cool.
talk bad about Blizzard or all that stuff, but a lot. If you look at their whole game set, it's all rehashed. And I don't mean that with disrespect, but I mean like, okay, so it's WoW, right? And Hearthstone, and then Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm is basically just
StarCraft and
remaking. Yeah, it's basically remaking all their
StarCraft,
stuff
Diablo,
into one
and
game.
Warcraft.
In fairness, though,
Yeah.
I actually like Heroes of the Storm and
No, it's a
Hearthstone
good game.
more
I'm not
than
saying
I
it's
like
not a
WoW
bad
and
game.
StarCraft.
What I'm saying is, it's all that's just kind of their history.
Yeah.
That's their bio.
But I mean,
But
it's
that
the
didn't
winning
used
formula.
that didn't used to be.
well, I mean, but now it is.
So Diablo 1 won Game of the Year in 95 and
No,
96.
no, I've
and then
even though
Diablo,
I've never played it. It's good.
And then Diablo 2, it came out summer 2000, and it was excuse me.
Fantastic.
One of the fantastic games. And it was really good. So Diablo 2, I mean, it had longevity too. It lasted for like 8 years before it started getting stale.
No, it's still relevant.
Yeah, it is. And then Diablo 3, it just didn't hit. They just tried to dumb it down too much. And a lot of players felt that way, and they got so much wrong with it. Like in the beginning, they got the difficulty.
So they were trying to get a
wrong.
new player base.
So
They were. They even got difficulty wrong. In the beginning of the game, when it first released, you couldn't complete the game. The difficulty was tuned so high that the items you needed to complete the end game, you could only get if you could already complete the end game. So no one could actually complete Inferno. And Inferno difficulty, the only way someone ended up completing it was there were glitches where if you were a wizard, you could actually like teleport and cast Archon at the same time, and then your health bar went away, and you couldn't die anymore. And you could
That's
just
fun.
complete the game that way. And that was the only way that people actually got items to sell in the real money auction house, so players could buy them and then complete the game.
At least
So-
the trade network was set up.
Well, let me say this. I think that what I consider a failure is completely different from what you guys do, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Nothing
that
wrong
means
with
we're
being
going to
wrong.
have... We're... Okay.
Kidding, I'm not-
But what that means is we have an impassable gulf between us as far as what we consider a failure. For me, failure is such a... used sparingly. Like, that thing has to be a walking turd from inception through release to the fact that
like
nobody
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
So what game to you?
So
is
okay,
that walking
but
turd?
let me hang on. In defense of Diablo 3, there are a lot of things, and you're right. There are a lot of things I didn't like about it. There's obviously a lot of things you don't like about it. But to me, that just because I don't personally like stuff like that doesn't mean I consider it a failure. Now, when you're playing Diablo 3, if you're playing out of season, very, very few people are playing online because
No one wants to.
right. But when the implementation of season, especially coming to Xbox,
But that
and
came
PSN,
from Diablo 2.
Yes, it did. But that's what get people to play it. So more people are playing Diablo 3 for its seasons than people are playing Diablo 2.
Well, yeah, but that's not really like a good measurement of the game.
I think it's a perfectly fine
That's like
measurement.
saying, well,
Because,
Diablo
like,
2 is a
to
success
me-
because people
to
are playing
me-
it more than Diablo 1. Or like people are playing Warcraft 3 more than Warcraft 2.
Hang on.
Damn.
Let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if people are still playing it and it's still relevant to people, that means it's not a failure.
Okay, I actually
think
get
there's
that
a,
a lot. My only thing is...
Hannah Montana game that people are still playing too.
Yeah,
No.
and you know what? For them, it's not a failure.
Okay.
There's plenty of games like that.
I get that, and that's cool.
To me, a failure
but
is
my
when
only
a company
thing is,
lies
failure
to you.
has to be something where
And then
it's like,
it's just
yeah,
blatant.
exactly.
It's blatant.
The
And
CEO's
it's
like,
oh, yeah.
we sold you a bad
Final
bill of
Fantasy
goods.
14.
Yeah. No,
He did that. He came out and apologized. Literally, the CEO came out and apologized for the game.
and we can let that go because I already said, as it was
Let it
released in
go.
2010, you're right. But what you have to do is, you're saying, is this game a failure currently? Final
I'm not
Fantasy
saying that.
14,
It
yes,
anyway.
that's what we're talking about.
That's what you're talking about.
That's right. Okay, well, you know what? That's where I'm coming from.
I think the whole numbers thing though is a little bit flawed because if you
What were the
if,
numbers?
if you do
What
have,
were the numbers?
if you do
So a lot of that is very, very hard to get your hands on. No, look, and it's not just. All right, assholes.
I'm listening.
It's not just for you. Almost no publisher will tell you how many active subscribers or how many active players they have. You
Blizzard
could probably.
actively knows.
Well, yes, Blizzard knows.
That's a Blizzard game.
Yes, they know. They don't release it. How many people are playing World of Warcraft right now?
You used to be able to log into StarCraft and it would actually tell you this many players are online today.
They do it for Halo Call of Duty Halo. They all have active
They will tell you how many
numbers.
people are currently online. They don't tell you how many active accounts there are. They won't tell
Well,
you
yeah,
how many
because there's
people are not
way
playing
more
online
active
than,
accounts.
even though Diablo 3 is that weird sort of you have to be online to even play single player mode kind of thing. They still don't release stats of people that are currently playing private games and things like that. So it's hard to get an exact number.
I'm not a big fan of a game where it just poops out and then the developer has to like go back and like cover themselves.
That's what I mean.
And like I
They
said,
don't always
my
have to
problem,
sometimes.
my only problem with that is, again, I can't think of a game that's had an online base other than, I guess, Injustice. To your credit, whatever. Again, that's
Well,
'cause
the
I was
thing
playing.
is-
but I can't think of a game on PC that's actually had a really solid launch in like the last.
Overwatch did.
Overwatch did, but
That
I
was
have,
clean.
I have. There's a
But
reason
I
for
hate
that.
that game.
Me too.
I don't want to go into that.
It's just that
But-
I don't want to go
but
into
to
it.
me-
No,
but
but no.
if-
What I mean
if-
is like,
when considering that, that's why I can't agree with Naveed to say that every game that I can think of has had a horrible launch, but that doesn't mean the game itself is a failure.
what I think the problem is today is that look, there's so many people that are playing League of Legends. There's so many people that are playing Dota. There's like all these people, all these gamers and all that. They're already like signed up for something.
Yeah.
So to get them away or to make them spend more money is going to be very difficult for new games. There was a
Speaking of that,
RTS game.
1.1K on League of Legends, I found out. So that's quite a bit. Just random thought.
No,
1.1.
so
You're not close to Troy.
yeah.
4K, 5K, I think.
oh my god, you guys,
Okay, RTS.
Jesus Christ! But no, like I forgot. What I was
Jesus
gonna say.
Christ.
All right, well, anyways. Well, so here's my thing.
I had a
Moving
great
on.
thing.
This
I
is
had
your
a
point.
great
This
thing.
generation-
and then I'm just like, damn, you spent that much.
The whole millennial and future generations.
Oh yes, okay. With
We're
the people,
all
yeah.
instant gratification. Like everyone just wants instant gratification. They don't want to wait on anything. That's why.
Yeah.
That's a
why
very
everyone
Joe-esque
waits.
thing to say. That's
Yeah.
two. That's
No,
2
months.
months.
It's
That's
two months.
2 months.
2 months.
You're not
No,
wrong.
but what I'm trying
you're
to say
not
is,
right.
so with all these people, right? Okay, let's take League of Legends. If you're gonna take me away from League of Legends, if I'm gonna play a different game, I already know. Okay, so it's gonna take me like maybe a month to learn basics or whatever. It's gonna take me this long to kind of get into it. But the thing is, it's like, are you gonna be making that investment when you know League of Legends, your whole friends, your whole group, your whole homies, they all know League of Legends, they all play League of Legends, and the season's almost, or the not the season, what is it? The year is almost over. So people that are trying to get gold, no.
So
for
that was something
the
I was
gold
going to
and all
ask
that.
you guys
that's in
on that
October.
note.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. The year. I'm
I
not
was-
saying like right now.
I was going to ask you guys this. So with these game releases, do you think, or I should say, how much do you think the time that these games are released affects their success or failure?
Yes.
Like
How
as
much?
in
How much? How much?
day
I
of
think
the
it would be
year?
100%.
huge.
Not
I think
day
it
of the
would be
year, but
huge
more
if-
so timing based on other things coming out, and
Yeah.
like
No,
for
no.
example, isn't it a huge success, or a good plan, anyways, to release something during league's preseason or
That's what I was
like
gonna say. I would
postseason,
say
something like
all
that.
games.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
they came out with, anything,
Hit 'em when
during
everyone
the,
else is
That's,
skipping.
dark
with,
season,
that's with everything.
that'd be huge.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Even I don't,
Mars
I don't
Loves
know.
Martians was a really great animated movie that no one's really seen. It was great.
I don't know.
It was great.
I don't
You wanna
know.
see how- 'cause it
There's
got
your
released-
plug for Mars Needs Moms or whatever he was just talking about.
Mars Needs Moms? Is this a porno?
No.
Starving Marvin.
Well, I don't know. It could be.
Is this a porno? Like, Mars
No,
Needs Moms.
I actually know that animated.
Yeah. New
But no,
movie,
if-
MILF and Cookies.
I don't know Overwatch League when their schedule is, but yeah, like it would be huge
Don't
if
keep that up.
I don't think anyone does anything like during
Just the salty.
November, January, or December. I don't like Christmas.
You skipped a month. You skipped
The
a
best
month.
month too, because that's Christmas. and
November,
New
Well,
Year's.
that's one of those things. That's been a notoriously bad time to try to launch something like that because of Christmas and stuff.
No,
like
it's a
that.
great time to launch.
Well,
'cause then
if it's a
everyone's
free
alive
game,
for
It's
Christmas.
not. It depends on what the game is. If it's something console based or something like that, where you're gonna purchase it, yes. But a lot of those games, notoriously, especially subscription based or ones where you need an active user base, often don't do very.
I don't
very
think
well.
subscription based is a style that should go with anymore. It's been proven that microtransactions make more money.
Well, and subscription based is bullshit.
League made the most money out of any game in history. It made over $1 billion in revenue in 2015, and it's free to play.
Well, look at Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
They've missed another update date. They keep missing these.
Update date.
So shout out to Trevor or Travis Eskimo. That's a really tall dude.
His name is Udapa. He hits seals. So.
Oh yeah, he's an Eskimo.
He's an Eskimo.
But anyways,
He's part of the Seal Clubbing Club.
he's not in that penguin club.
That used to be my well guild name, the Seal Cup Clubbing Club.
He's loving that. But
Nah, dude.
no, so oh my god, I'm so forgetting
Club Penguin.
everything. No, okay, so he just paid. They came out with a season or a year 2 pass, right? So he paid, I think it was like $100, and he's getting all the new.
pass, not a year 2 pass.
It's a year 2 pass because this is the second year that they're doing.
So 2-year pass.
No,
So 1 year
not
pass.
two-
No,
No,
it's year 1, year 2, year 3.
That's
so
stupid. Why don't
so
they call
you
it a
get-
year-long pass?
no. So you get all the operators that are coming out this year. So
What are operators?
they're the
The
characters.
characters,
Yeah, that's what they call them. The
What
problem
game are we
is
talking about? I'm
Rainbow
lost.
Six.
Okay.
So there's only been since the start of the season. There's only been one release or 2 release operators. That's it. So that's nothing. And it's like what? We're almost in June. Half the year's gone, and there's only been one.
We're almost in the
spent-
middle of May. I don't think you say almost.
It's the 21st.
It's the 21st of May.
That's
How's
like
that?
the middle.
Isn't your birthday?
just
in
said how
June?
the middle
Almost
works.
the middle.
The middle is the 15th.
Lord, else is the middle. This is still tomorrow is the end, but this is the middle week. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow's end, but yesterday's beginning. All right.
Yeah.
Leave it to Alex.
So,
We're
anyways.
technically in the end of May.
Yeah,
can't believe
but
we're already on the 21st.
regardless, like it's
That
been
was
this long. They've
Yeah.
missed all these things, and so this is also what I see. Like I don't buy season passes like Call of Duty, anything or like that anymore because it's like I stopped playing the game.
What is it, an amusement park? You have to buy season passes?
I bought
Yeah.
season pass for Injustice 2 because I'm also
Yeah,
buying free
it's hard,
characters.
Well,
So
they really appreciate you being the only one that buys season pass.
I'm gonna get all 9 characters. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Well done.
Yeah, but that's if they come out. That's the thing. See that I think we should have another
You like how
department
there's-
in the government that regulates this shit
I'm done.
because that's it.
See ya, Neil.
I'm the apartment in the government? Are you serious?
I'm saying no because you're spending all
So
this
this
money on
department's
season
gonna cover
passes.
comic books,
Change.org.
No, it's a
video
different
game,
department.
By the time you guys
Different
watch
department.
this, Joe will have
Different
released a petition on Change.org for another branch.
We need 2 takes to enforce this.
Oh my goodness.
Alright,
This would
so
be great.
I think it's weird that
Should be a
gaming companies.
politician.
I think it's strange that gaming companies keep trying to sell things that aren't there yet.
Yeah.
Very, very weird.
Promises.
Very weird to try and sell something that's not there.
To me, it's one of those things where it's just because now they're trying to get ahead of everybody else. If somebody
It's-
pushes their release date, they gotta push.
It's
it.
because of Kickstarter. Kickstarter started this whole trend.
No,
Yeah,
Steam.
too.
Buy something that's
Steam.
not here yet. Like that's
No,
Steam.
you can't really put that against Steam. Steam's
No.
been around for a while. I think.
Yeah, but it's
It's
not Steam.
Kickstarter.
It's Steam's
it's Kickstarter.
creator.
Kickstarter basically
yes.
said you can pay money, and this is what we're gonna try.
Yeah.
to
Steam
get
is
done.
older than Kickstarter.
Yes, it is. Steam. The workshop is a little bit older, but regardless, that's
Well, it's
when
not
it
just the
came about.
workshop.
Kickstarter blew it up.
I mean,
No, but what I'm saying is,
Star. No, fuck. It wasn't StarCraft. There was Star Forge or something. I bought
Yes.
this, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do this. We're probably you can't play
yes,
it."
and that
It's
was
an
during
unplayable game.
and that was due to Kickstarter.
Was
That
that?
was during the Kickstarter era.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
Washington
agree with
Redskins.
that. 100%.
Kickstarters, like there was a bunch of people that bought this like stupid cooler, and the cooler was like, oh, it has a radio built in, and you can charge your phone, and you can do this, and you can do that. So
South Park had an
and it's like-
episode with Kickstarter.
it was like $250 for this cooler, and all these people paid all this money, and then they never released it.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right.
Well, I don't get. See, we live in a weird time where I think people are like saying that we're in kind of like a repression, but we're not because
Recession?
Repression.
I was like, what is
All right,
repression?
so this is what it is. You know,
He's having a repression.
I'm having my own little moment.
on it. Just
So yeah, I'm gonna make a custom one. So
can you hold this for me?
no, but like I mean, if you look at the world we live in, right? And I've talked to people, and I'm not downing
Peace, loving you. guys.
Twitch or anything
government
like that.
control.
No, but the thing is, like, if you really break down streaming, that is the most ridiculous thing ever. You're watching other people play the game that you could be playing. If you own it, if it's free to play, you could be. But that's the thing. It's not.
sports.
So Joe,
Like
my
that's football. You
counterpoint-
can go out and play football. You can
You
go out
can't
and
play professional football.
You don't have to play professional. You can't play professional
I-
esports
my-
either.
my
Like, what you
No, but
counterpoint
how
to
many
that
people do you
is-
need for football?
But
All
look,
right, how many people do you need for playing table tennis?
what does that have to do
But
with
people
anything?
watch professional table tennis. What is it?
No,
Yeah,
but what I mean is,
That's-
it's all right there on the computer.
That has nothing.
Okay,
to do
so
with
is
what we were
chess.
talking about.
That's what I
What's your point?
Chess is
But you
amazing.
can't. But people watch streamers play chess
Chess is
because you can't play at the same level.
Okay,
and
that
it's
makes
fun
sense.
to watch
to do with
personalities.
Kickstarter.
No, I'm just saying because
No,
this is the
bro.
world we live in. He has lost his beat.
He's
Well, look, at the end of the day, in the world we live in, streaming
sucks.
should actually be controlled by the government.
Hey,
So,
Joe,
okay,
Joe,
back
do
to
me,
the-
hold on, do me a favor and don't tell people to stop watching streams. Might have some direct.
No, I'm not saying not stop watching, but it's a weird.
Not
concept.
stop watching.
It's a
Double
weird.
negative.
Oh my god! It's a weird concept in the fact that you pay people to like, basically, it is entertainment.
That's what
do you just
basketball
want
is.
to talk
That's what
about
football
this?
is. So
'Cause
boxing is.
I still
MMA
had
is.
something to say about Kickstarter.
All right, go ahead, Kickstarter.
All right,
I'm gonna just.
we're getting.
I mean,
short
Neil
on time
pieced
here, I
out. You
think.
could piece out too. If you
No
want.
kidding. Okay, so the problem is the accountability factor. Is you with Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all that stuff. In a sense, you're making yourself too accountable,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Because every little movement you make is held under deep scrutiny for the people that are invested in it. Because at this point, the people are the investors, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that are making it happen. So you have to follow up with them. You have to show them all your shortcomings, all your failures. Everything has to be available to them to see. And they see a lot of stuff that we didn't know about as far as the development side 10, 15 years ago.
Mhm.
So because of that, people are saying, you have to hit your date. And they're like, well, we just told you that this is broken. They're like, we don't care. You have to hit your date. And thus, a beta is released. And they say, okay, this is what we're giving you guys. And because we had to meet a release date, and then we're going to fix it up until that point.
Yeah.
Some people do. Most people don't.
Oh man, the
Well, was
Forest
it
has been
the-
in alpha for a year and a half now.
But
Arc
one
had
of
an
those
alpha
ones
for
where
a
you
long
have
time.
indie
Arc
developers
is still
and stuff
in
like that.
beta.
I
Arc
don't
is
know
still in
anything
beta.
about them, so I don't know who the developer is. But if you do have a small developer where it's a group of even up to 8 people, it can take years and years and years
Yeah.
and years for
No,
It's
no,
like
I'm
these
not
games
down.
look so
But
complete.
wasn't
too, sometimes.
Kickstarter? What I might be completely wrong on this, but I think it was the Oculus. That guy created. He did the whole funding, got the money, and then sold it to Facebook. It's not the Oculus. It's something else. There's a VR thing. He basically did it all like
Spicy.
by
Mama,
himself.
Where's the VR headset?
No, I forgot this. All right, guys. I think I'm done for
That's
tonight.
it for this week. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much for tuning in. Don't worry, Naveed, I'll take care of it. If you have any questions, please be sure to email us at PCINtalk@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.
PCIN, peace.
Thanks for watching, guys. We love you.